Hi everybody! I'm not sure how many of you know this, but for a number of years I was able to work as a magician. So what I'm going to do today with this tutorial is show you how some very basic magic tricks work. Now before I get into the tutorial, I wanted to make you guys promise me something. Once you learn how these tricks work, you are going to be on the inside of the world of magic. So I want to make sure that if you ever get the chance to see a magician perform, and you see some of the tricks that I may show you, you don't call out how they're done. Most of the tricks I'm going to show you are for younger kids, so we want to make sure that they can still enjoy the show. So I really appreciate you guys doing that. Now the way this is going to work is I was able to find some footage of me performing from a couple of years ago. So you're going to watch a clip of me performing, then I'm going to come back and demonstrate how the trick was done. So without further ado, here's the first trick. The first one I'm actually going to need help from all of you guys. So this is what I have. I have a coloring book, but I have a little bit of a problem. Look inside. There's no pictures or anything yet. So what I need you guys to do is I want you guys to go ahead and close your eyes and imagine what you would see at a circus. Do you see clowns? Do you see elephants? Close your eyes for me and really imagine. Really picture what you want to see at a circus. Really imagine. Is it clowns? Is it elephants? Is it maybe a ringleader? All right. Go ahead and open up your eyes and let's see what you guys want to see at a circus. Mom. Look at that.
Mommy.
Look at all the drawings that you guys did for me. Oh. Now, when you guys color in stuff, there's one other step, right? We need to color this book in, don't we?
Yeah.
Can you guys help me do that?
Yeah.
Awesome. What I want you guys to do is I want you to grab onto your clothes, on your shirts and shorts. You guys are wearing such wonderful clothes.
I'm gonna pick
it off and throw it up at the book like that. Go ahead, throw.
I'm gonna pick green.
Oh, go ahead, you two. Yep, pick green. Go ahead and throw that up.
Gold.
Good. Oh, you two. I didn't get anything from you yet. Come on.
I'm gonna do.
Just do like this on your shirt and just throw.
Now throw it to him.
Perfect. Go ahead.
What about
throw it up.
skin color?
Oh, you threw it over there.
What about this? What about this?
That's perfect. Throw that up. Awesome. Now let's take a look and see what we did.
I'm gonna do blue.
Oh, we need blue? Okay, throw that blue. Go ahead. Awesome. Now let's take a look.
Whoa!
Look at that.
Oh,
All right. So this is my magic coloring book. Magic coloring book is very much a staple of anyone that ever performs magic for children. It's a classic. It's going to be around forever. You'll probably see it again if you ever go to a child's birthday or a special event and there's a magician there. Now, the way this trick works is actually very simple. Depending on where I flip on the book, a different part of it is revealed. So if I flip from the top, all the drawings are there. If I flip from the middle, the drawings are there and they're colored in. If I flip from the bottom, it's completely blank. So let me show you real quick. So I'm going to flip from the top. You see all the drawings there. If I flip from the middle, drawings are there and colored in. And when I flip from the bottom, it's completely blank. So, now if I did that and just flipped here, flipped there, I think some people would probably recognize it. So what I was doing was at first I showed them the blank pages, then I had them imagine what would be at a circus, then I flipped from the top. Then I had them pull colors from them and throw it up at the book, and then I had them help me magically color it in. So that kind of talking is called patter, and it's a way to distract your audience. With anything magic-wise, all magicians are going to use something to distract you. So if a magician's getting you to look up here, they're usually doing something down here. So that's another little tip that you'll learn. All right, let's move on to the next trick. So you guys can see I have a short piece of rope and a medium piece of rope and then a really long piece of rope.
You're gonna tie them together by whipping them around.
Not even a little bit. What we're gonna do is actually, I'm gonna try if I can see if I can make all these pieces of rope the exact same length. So what I'm going to do, hold them up like this. I'm gonna take my short piece of rope and I'm just gonna loop it around like this. And I'm gonna take the next piece of rope, the medium piece of rope, like this.
And third piece of rope. Like so. And I'm just gonna go ahead and give them a tug and hopefully, look at that. All three pieces of rope, the exact same size. So now I'm gonna go a little bit of a twist and look at that. Back to normal. All three pieces one more time. Thank you guys very much.
All right, so 3 pieces of rope of different length become 1. How did I do that? Well, actually, the way it works is I'm obviously not stretching out these ropes. What I'm actually doing is by way that I move the ropes around, I actually make it where this rope, the longest one, actually folds in half. And when you fold it in half, you'll notice that they're about the same length. So what I'm going to do is and it's all about the positioning of these ropes. All right, magic rope trick. 3 different pieces of rope. All right, magic rope trick. 3 different lengths of rope become the same length. So how do I do that? Well, this trick all involves how you position the rope. So what I'm going to do is you put on my left, I'm going to put the shortest rope on the left, the middle rope in the middle, and the long rope on the outside. And this is very important. What you do first is you take the short rope and you make sure you go in front of the other 2. And I tell the audience that I'm just going to put it on the end like this. But when I take my hand and cover it, what I actually do is take the short rope and put it in between the middle and the long rope. So right now, there's actually forming a loop. So what I will do then is take the next rope, put it in front and put it on the end, and then take the longest rope and put that one on the end. So now when I go and stretch them out, and I'm actually not going to cover it up, you guys can see the shortest rope is actually catching the longest rope. So the longest rope actually folds on itself, and that's what makes it look like they are all the same length. So you can see that the shortest rope is actually right here. It didn't stretch at all. All I did was hook it around. And obviously when I'm doing that, I'm covering up this portion. So again, I'm only showing the audience what I want them to see. And then obviously when I'm done, to make them look like I just did this real quick and sent it out. And they became 3 different pieces again.
So I'll just put that back in there. So what I need from you, what we are going to do, you guys, my next trick, you guys will see I have a box of colored pencils that's empty right here. And this one is full. So what I want you guys to do, what we need Tristan to do, I'm going to take a pencil out of this, and I'm going to give it to you, and we'll use that as our magic wand. So Tristan, what I would like you to do, I'm going to cover this up. As soon as I cover this up, you tap the front of this, okay? So, go ahead, give it a tap. Whoop, look at that. Ooh, we disappeared those. And what I would like you to do now is come over here and tap that one time on there. Okay. And look, we jumped the pencils from one box to another. Excellent. Thank you very much, Tristan. All right, give Tristan a big round of applause. Yay!
All right, my magic colored pencil trick. Now, this is one of my favorite ones. I really, really like this trick. Actually, we're coming up on a lot of ones that are my favorite. So, but anyway, this is kind of the first of the ones that I really, really enjoy performing. This is just a fun trick. It's a little bit of a gimmick to it, and these are some specially built boxes that were made by a company that I bought them from. So the way it works, I'm going to put this one down real quick so I can work with this one. So this was how I showed the audience this empty box to start. So there's nothing in this box, right? Well, in a minute we're going to find out that may not be true. So let me pick up this other box. So this one looks like this is completely full of pencils, right? Well, as I'm going through these tricks, I want you guys to start paying attention to where I'm holding things. So right now, look at this. I'm holding this right here. So watch what happens if I just let go. Did you guys see that? They disappeared. Now, what this is a specially built box, and I will eventually pull them out, but right now, take a look. You guys can see, the pencils aren't all the way there. There is a gap in here that perfectly fits into this space. Let me take these out so I can show you. Take a look at that. But the way it's built, it looks like they are completely full when they're in the box. So I'm going to put them back in. And then based off of where I hold it, as soon as I release the pressure, whoop, they disappear. Sometimes because I just put them back in, they didn't go down. So that's something you always want to check when you're working as a magician. You want to make sure that your props are working right before you get started on a show. It's a good lesson there. So again, just release a little bit and they drop down. Now, when I do this with the trick, I cover that with a cloth. You don't always have to do that. Another way I've done this sometimes is I just take this and I just leave my hand over it, and then it looks like they just disappeared. That's actually a pretty impressive one. But I like to use the handkerchief. I think it's just gives it a little bit more flair. Now, put this part down. How do I get the crayons to appear over here? Well, you guys saw I had my little assistant, take a pencil and then tap. But again, right now, there's no pencils in there. So how do they appear? Well, this is another specially built prop. And you guys notice when I show you that there's nothing in there, I'm holding it vertical. But when I show you that there are things in there, I turn it just a little bit. So this is another little specially built case. And you guys can see this is the top when there are pencils in it, but it slides up and hides. But if I just let go of it and push it down, it's not really designed for that part. So, but you guys can see it slides back down. And if I hold it vertical, I can pull it back up. And then if I want to show that there's something in there, playing with this a little too much right now, so it's not working with me. But you turn to the side, there they are. So very, very simple trick, very fun trick, but it's also a very powerful trick. So I really, really like performing this one. I hope you guys liked it. All right, let's move on to the next one.
I've got a blue crayon and a red crayon and a yellow crayon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you this, okay? And I'm going to give you two.
Yes.
So what you're going to do is you're going to follow me. So what we're going to do, if I show you the tube, if I show him the crayon, you're going to show him the crayon just like that.
Okay.
And if I show him the tube, you're going to show him the tube just like that. So what I want you to do is take your crayon, put the tube inside, and we're going to turn it over once, turn it over twice, turn it over 3 times, 4, 5, and good. Keep it showing. Oh, wait. No, the point's supposed to be up. So get it right. Get it right. Okay, so points up. There we go. Okay. Did you show them again? Make sure that you got it right. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do, try to do it this time. So turn over once. Turn over twice. Turn over 3 times. Yep, show.
Wait, you said 3 times.
Yeah.
I'm upside down.
You're not following directions,
I'm sorry.
correct,
I'm
sir.
sorry.
Perhaps we should switch.
Okay, let's
see.
switch.
Yeah. You give me that?
Yep.
All right. So what we're gonna do? Yeah. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe you have the tube.
Yeah.
Maybe you have tube in the wrong hand.
Your shoes.
So what I would like you to do, okay? Let's ready. You ready?
I think I'm ready.
Okay. So we're gonna show them crayon.
Okay, that's fine.
Show them tube.
Are these your socks?
Crayon inside the tube.
Yep.
Turn over
Are
once.
these your socks?
Turn over twice.
They got muddy.
3 times, and then lift up.
Uh-oh.
What are you?
You put it
You're doing this to me on purpose.
I'm not doing anything to you. Okay, turn yours up. Make sure yours is upright.
Like this?
Show them up, and we'll make it really, really easy on you this time. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
All right. Just turn it over once.
Once.
Pick up and show.
I think
Yep.
you should turn it around the other
He's
way.
tricking me.
Yeah, no, I think the problem is
Turn it around
your crayon's way too big.
Fella.
You can't use the little. You can't use the big crayons. You have to have the little ones.
Okay, little one.
I need to.
All right. Well, let's give Andy's dad a big round of applause. Thanks for coming up, Andy.
Yay!
All right, so the confusing crayon trick. this has been used by a lot of different magicians, a lot of different ways. This is a very fun one. I like this one because it's very big, it's very visual. I also like that when I perform this trick, I get to pull up usually an adult. And so an adult gets to look a little silly in front of the kids. I think that's a lot of fun. The kids usually really react well to that, especially if it's their mom or their dad. Sometimes they get like a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle, sometimes an older brother or sister. But whatever happens, the kids usually have a lot of fun with this. Now, what I'm going to do first is just show you the tube that I give to the person. So it's just big crayon, big tube, nothing really inside. So this is the one that I give person to start off with, and then they obviously just have to mirror me. You guys just saw that. So, do you think there might be a difference between the tube that I'm using and the tube that I give the person? I think there might be. So let's see what that difference is. So, this is my yellow crayon. This is the tube. So, let me show you my tube. So I just took that crayon out, but watch this. Whoop! I have a red crayon in there. Or let me turn it over here. I have a yellow crayon in there. Turn it over again. There's a red crayon and a yellow crayon. This is inside my tube. So that's the trick to it. That's the whole thing. There's a sleeve inside that has the bottoms, has a bottom yellow and a bottom red. So the way that you can tell the difference, you need to know this. When you perform it, there's a little yellow dot. That means that it's the yellow side. And then on the other side, there's a little red dot. So that way when you're performing, you know which side is up. So if you have the yellow one, then that means the yellow is up and you're going to be showing them the red. So the way you perform this trick is that, let me grab my crayon back. So right now, if I want to actually show the crayon, I stick my hand inside and make sure I grab that inner sleeve. So right now, I pick it up and I show, when I first started the trick, I show that it's the yellow crayon facing up. So then we do some turns. 1, 2, 3, 4, and right now the yellow one is up, so we do 5. And if I pull up with the sleeve, it actually is facing down, and that's what the person does. So, but what I do is I don't pull up the sleeve, I hold the outside, and when I pull it up, it makes it look like the yellow crayon is facing up instead of what it really is doing, which is facing down. So now what I do, it takes a little bit of acting at this part. You look at the person, you act confused yourself, and you say, oh, no, it's supposed to be facing up. And without fail, they go, oh, sorry, and then they flip it up. So now their crayon actually is facing up, but mine is still facing down. So again, when we go to restart, I say, okay, show it to them, and they just pick it up like this. But again, for real, mine is facing down. So then we just go 1, 2, 3, and then I pull it out, and theirs is still facing down because, of course, when you flip it 3 times, 2, 3, it would be facing down. So then you, again, takes a little bit of acting. You look at them, you say, hey, I don't know what's happening with your crayon, blah, blah, blah. So then I switch. I switch crayons with them, and then what you want to do is make sure that that red dot is now facing up. So put it back in. And I don't know if you noticed, the first time we did 5, the second time when we switched crayons, we're now going to do 3. So I do 1, 2, 3. And again, if I pick it up, mine is facing down. But what I do is I hold the outside, and it looks like, I went a little high right there. It looks like my crayon is facing up. So they flip theirs over, and then you just go, okay, turn it over one time, whoop, and then reveal, and theirs is still facing down. So it's a fun little trick. It gets a very, very big reaction. Now the big final reveal, and I wonder if you guys remember this because it was a couple of minutes ago now, I made this crayon become a very small crayon. That's the final step. Now, how do we do that part? Well, inside this crayon, I pull off a little piece. there's a little crayon just tucked inside. It's been there the whole time. So, I don't know if you guys noticed how I did this, but when I went to go pull this, at this point, everybody's laughing. All the attention is focused on the adult who can't seem to get this crayon right. But even so, I still turned my body like this and lowered, and I had all my attention on him. And while I was looking at him, I was doing this down where people couldn't see. And I put my crayon down, and then this, and then everybody's eyes are right here. This is one of those things that comes back to, I want somebody to look at this. And while I was doing that, I was taking this piece of the bottom of the crayon and slipping it into my pocket. That's all it was. It's just making people look at something and then doing something somewhere else. That's magic. And this is one of my favorite tricks to perform. I love that I get to kind of play around with people. You get to do a little bit of acting in it. And this one does actually take a little bit of practice and some skill. So you want to, before you perform this one, you really, really want to practice it. So I hope you guys liked it, and let's check out the next trick.
So my next trick, I have this spotty bag, and I need all your help again with this one. So inside the bag, I've got a white handkerchief, and I've got a blue handkerchief. And also inside the bag is completely blue. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do some magic with these handkerchiefs. So I'm gonna put them back in the bag. And let's see, would you give me a magic word?
Hocus pocus.
Hocus pocus, sounds great. All right, on the count of 3, everyone shout hocus pocus as loud as you can. 1, 2, 3. Hocus pocus! Alrighty, and as you guys can see, I have turned the blue handkerchief white, and I've turned the white handkerchief blue.
That trick.
Thank you very much, that was exhausting. I gotta be honest, you guys don't look very impressed. What's that?
Another airplane.
Yes, there is another airplane. I gotta be honest, you guys don't look very impressed by that one. How about I put polka dots on the handkerchiefs? Would you guys want to see that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Alright, so we'll put them back in the bag. And who has this? I'll tell you what, would you give me a magic word?
Dinosaur.
Dinosaur. We'll go with dinosaur. So on the count of 3, everyone say dinosaur.
Dino.
1. On the count of 3.
He's
1, 2, 3. Dinosaur. And as you guys can see, I have put blue polka dots on the blue handkerchief. And I have put white polka dots on the white handkerchief.
You should put blue
that's
dots
do it.
on the blue one.
You guys also don't really look impressed again, so. What? All right, fine. What if I put blue polka dots on the white handkerchief and white polka dots on the blue handkerchief? Does that work?
Yes.
All right, all right. So on the count of 3, give me a magic word.
Headband.
That's what I heard. What did you say?
Headband.
Headband? All right. On the count of 3, everyone say headband. 1, 2, 3. Headband. And that was a very special magic word because inside has become white, blue on the white, and white on the blue. And also, the inside has turned into my favorite pet spot. Yes. All right, thank you guys very much. So I have.
All right, the spotty bag trick. This is another one of my favorites. I really like this trick because of the pattern that I use. I like that I start off kind of not knowing what I'm doing, and then by the end of the trick, you pull off something pretty fun and interesting. I also like that it has 3 levels to it, and I usually get a very good reaction from this trick. People think it's funny, especially when I do the middle part, like, all right, I put white spots on the white handkerchief and blue on the blue. That usually makes people laugh. And then when you actually do the big reveal at the end and show them that you put blue spots on the white and white spots on the blue, it gets a really big reaction. And I really, really like this trick. Now, without that pattern, this trick actually wouldn't be that interesting because to pull this trick off, this is actually one of the simplest effects. All this is, and I'm going to pull this up so you guys can see it, is a double bag. There's the blue side here, and then there's a part down the middle, and then there's this side. It's the same bag, but there's just a gap in the middle. So the key to this is when you first show people the inside of the bag, you show them that it's one and there's two handkerchiefs inside. But if you guys noticed what I was doing when I was reaching into the bag, a lot of times I would lift it up. That's so when I switch it at the end, it's not as obvious. If I did it down here where you could see it, the switch would be very, very obvious. So all this is inside the bag, there's also this dog. It's a very, very, very simple effect, but because of that pattern, it makes it actually a very, very fun trick and a very interesting trick, at least in my opinion. Like I said, I really like performing this trick. It's a lot of fun. It's actually one of the first ones I ever learned when I first started doing magic years and years ago. So this has been something that I've continued to use over the years, and again, I really, really like it a lot. All right, so that's about it for the spotty bag. Let's go ahead and move on to the next trick.
So I have this magic domino, and on this side I have 1 spot, and then on this side I have 4 spots, and then on this side I have 2 spots,
You were just covering one.
and on this side I have 5 spots, and then of course on this side I have 3 spots, and then of course on this side I have 6 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? That was the trick. You guys want to see it again real quick?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so what I have on this side, I have 1 spot. On this side, I have 4 spots. And then on this side, I have 2 spots. And then on this side, I have 5 spots. And then on this side, of course, I have 3 spots. And then I have 6 spots on this side. You guys see that? What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys now how I did that, all right? So this side has 2 spots on it all the time, and this spot always has 5, okay? So the first time I showed you this side, all I did was just cover up this spot. All right? So I titled like this and said, I just have a side with 1 spot. This side always has 5. So when I showed it to you the first time, I held that up and said, look, there's only 4 on this side. And then when I showed you this side, I just moved my hand. Instead of covering it up, I just did this. So we've got 2 spots on this side. And then when I flipped this over like that, I said, look at it like this and how to like that. We're gonna let that blanket just go. That's all right, I'll just let it go. So then, of course, when I tail back to this side, I said, okay, we've got 3. We got 1, 2, 3. All right? Oh, thank you much. We'll just put that in there for now. So we've got 1, 2, 3, all right? And then when we went back over to this side, we did 6. All right? So how many was on this side always?
2.
2, that's right, exactly, 3. Right. And then this side, how many?
5.
5, right, 6. So one thing I want you guys to remember, this side always has 3. And how many does the other side have?
6.
6, you're exactly right, 8.
All right, now I love this trick. A quick little backstory about this. I had taken a couple of years off from doing magic, and I was restarting a business. And literally, I restarted. I just booked my first show, and it was on a Saturday. And literally on Friday, I was like, I think I need one more trick. So I don't know what made me think that, but I think I just was nervous. So I ran to the local magic store, and I was looking around, and I asked for something kind of visual. And the guy pointed this out to me, and I'd actually seen this trick performed a long time ago, and I'd forgotten about it. And I snapped it up, and I took it home, and I practiced it that night, and it became my closer for the show the next day. And it killed the first time, and it always does. It always gets a very, very good reaction. I love this trick because the setup is that I'm going to close with this trick, and I'm going to teach you how it's done after I do it. But then even after you show them the trick, there's another little surprise that they don't see coming. And it leaves it where they think they know how to do it. And then there's another little step, and then you walk away with some oohs and ahs. And it's a great, great closer. And that's something, again, if any of you guys are thinking about performing, having a really good closer, a good way to end your act is very, very important. You want to end strong. You don't want to end and have everybody go, oh, okay. You want to end with something big where people are going, yay, and maybe gets to their feet. You want to build up to a big reaction at the end of your show. And this does get a good reaction. So I really, really like this trick. Now, I love that I also get to teach people a little bit about magic as I'm doing this. So again, we start here, then we turn it over, and then we turn it over again, and then we turn it over again. And it's a fun trick. It's just all about hand positions. You guys know that from me already showing it. And I just cover up different spots and locations. So how do I get those extra dots to appear? Because as you guys can see, there really are 5 on this side and only 2 on this side. Well, what if I told you that this domino is actually metal? Do you guys have an idea of the way I might do it yet? Let's take a look at this. Watch this. This is a magnet. So when the trick starts, I make sure that I set it up so it's right over that dot. And then when I turn it over this side, I move it over. I take my thumb and I hold it like this when I'm revealing and slide it over. And then when I come back over, now it's there. Same thing on this side. There's a little pip there. So now it becomes 6. So you do 3. And I love that the final reveal is you go, okay, 3 on this side, 6 on this side, 1 last time. How many on this side? 3. And I'm not going to do it now, but when I flip it back over, there's actually, everyone goes 6, and there's actually 8. Well, guess what? There are 2 more magnet pips right there. So I just slide those over. So the last step for this trick is when I go, okay, so remember there's 6 on this side and 3 on this side. So I go 6 on this side, and how many are on the other side? 3, right. And as they're saying that, I'm moving it with my thumbs into position, and I say, how many on this side? They go 6, and I go, that's right, 8. So all I'm doing is when I show them this side, I'm just taking my thumbs and I'm holding it in a way where I can just slide it. And I want to show you that movement. So I hold it like this. And as I'm talking and I'm making my face and I'm doing that, no one can really see. Like you might right now, because you're looking for it, you might be able to see that I'm moving something. But if I'm doing this and moving my head around, again, that's a distraction. It's a way to make people look at something over here while I'm doing something right here. So, boop. That's how you do the magic domino trick. This is, again, it's one of my favorites. It's really, really fun to perform. I like that I get to teach people a little bit of magic, but then still have another trick on my sleeve, if you'll indulge me with that little pun. All right, so guys, I decided to do something a little extra. So when I used to perform magic shows, about half the show would be magic, and then the rest of the show would be making balloon animals for the kids. So I thought it would be kind of cool if I showed you guys how to make a balloon animal. So before we get into that tutorial, what I want to talk to you about is just some basic stuff about making balloon animals. So one thing that people don't actually realize is that balloons are going to pop. They're just going to. There's no way around that. But a way to start to avoid that is to buy high quality balloons. And kind of the industry standard is a brand called Qualatex. A lot of people get frustrated with making balloon animals when they're first starting because they just buy cheap balloons. Like they might be in like a Party City or something and see the long balloons that you use to make balloon animals and buy a bag of those. And those really aren't made well. And so you need to get a good brand like Qualatex, again, as that is the industry standard. And to be honest with you, they're not that expensive to get. But they're a little bit sturdier, they're a little bit stronger, and they don't pop as often. But they will pop, and it does happen. So when that happens to me when I'm performing, I usually just make a joke about it, and then you just grab another balloon and go back to making what you were making. So what I am going to show you how to make is a balloon dog. Balloon dog is pretty much the first thing everybody learns how to make when they're making balloon animals. It's a very popular one. It's, for some reason, whenever you're out making balloons, if someone's like, and you're like, hey, what would you like? If they can't think of anything, they just go to the dog. So you end up making a lot of dogs when you make balloon animals for people. And again, it is just one of the first ones. It's has like the most basic twist in it, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about how to make it in a minute. I will see you guys in a second. And I'm back. So, like I said, I'm going to show you guys how to make a balloon dog. So what I have right here is I have my balloon, and then I have my balloon pump. There are some balloon artists that can take this balloon and just go and blow it up. I am not one of them. In fact, those guys are actually kind of few and far between. I'm very impressed with them that they can do that. However, I and a lot of people that I know that do this kind of stuff use a pump. Especially when you're working like maybe a 2-hour, 3-hour balloon twisting job. Blowing up that many balloons would get very, very tiring, and it's just easier to use a pump. So I highly recommend using that. It's a pretty standard thing. It's like a bicycle pump. But if you're looking to get something like this, you can just go online and search balloon pump, and one of these will come up. All right, so before you get going with this, what I like to do is give my balloon a little stretch. Gives you a little bit of play when you're working with it. Now, blowing up a balloon is actually, there is a little bit of an art to it, because you don't want to fill it up too much. And that kind of went out of frame. So I'm going to leave about that much, and you guys can see by my hand, maybe it's about like a hand length. A little bit more than my hand width left at the end. You don't want to overfill this balloon, because then it will be more likely to pop. So you want to make sure that you give yourself a little bit of space at the end. Okay. So I'm going to actually even let a little bit of air out and then tie it off. Sometimes even tying off a balloon takes a little bit of a practice. So the other thing I want to do is give the balloon a little squeeze to let some air out. Sorry about that little squeak, but that does happen. And I'm also going to give it a little stretch. So the twist that we're going to mostly be working on for the balloon dog is called a pinch twist. Now, the reason it's called a pinch twist is simply because you're going to pinch the balloon at a certain spot and then twist it. So when you're making balloon animals, almost 100% of the time, there are a few exceptions. When you start making it, you're going to start on the nozzle end, the place where you tied off the balloon. Again, there are a few exceptions to this rule, but like 99% of the time, you're going to be starting your balloon making on this end. So what we're going to do first is start by making the balloon dog's nose. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go about maybe an inch, a little bit more, and I'm going to pinch and then twist the end. And I'm going to twist it 7, 8, 9, 10 times. As you get better at this, when you practice, you're going to start developing more of a feel for it. But in the beginning, you should really plan on twisting your balloon about 10 times just to make sure. Because, let me untwist this real quick. If you guys see, if I release it, it pretty much stays right now. But I just untwisted it. If I just do a couple of times, boop, it pops right back. Just a couple of times and boop, it pops right back. But if I do a pinch and a twist and twist it a bunch of times, it tends to stay. But as you get better and better, you'll develop more of a feel for this. So this part is going to be our dog's nose. So what we have to do now, I'm going to make 2 more bubbles, a little bit longer than this, because this is going to be our dog's ears. So I'm going to go down about 1.5 inches and pinch and twist it a bunch. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to actually fold this down like so. So you guys can see the ears are starting to come together. And what I'm going to do is just pinch here and twist these 2 pieces together. So, as you guys can see, we've got the start of our dog. We've got the nose and then the ears going. So the next part we have to do is make his neck. And my balloon, I'm not sure if you can see, it's starting to get a little stiff. So what I'm going to do is give it a squeeze some air out, and now my balloon's a little softer. And that will also help to prevent it from popping. So, next part is the neck. So I'm going to go about half that length, maybe about, I don't know, half an inch. I'm not super great with measurements. I tend to just eyeball it, but I'm trying to give you guys a little bit of an idea of how much you need to go down. But I like to make the neck a little bit smaller than what the nose is. And this kind of stuff, it just takes practice. Eventually you'll be able to do this almost with your eyes closed, which I have actually done. So, I'm going to pinch and twist. And now we've got nose, neck, and our next part is to make the legs. So I'm going to go a little bit longer for the legs. Pinch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the same way I did the ears, I'm just going to fold this over and find this spot where there's this little indent and twist again. Twist, and twist. And as you guys can see, now I've got nose, ears, neck, and legs. So the next part is to make the body segment. So I'm going to go to about here, maybe about 3 inches there. Do another pinch and twist. Sorry about the squeaking. And then I'm going to try to make the next set of legs about the same length as the first set of legs. But again, it's an approximation, so just do the best you can. Sometimes, almost every balloon I've ever made is a little different. But they all kind of look the same. Sometimes the dogs are smaller, sometimes they're bigger. It really just kind of depends on how much I've blown it up. So, but the more you do it, the better off you're going to be. So I'm going to pinch here, twisty, and then fold this around. And we've got our dog. Now, some people, and I didn't do this with the first one because I kind of wanted to leave it and show you guys this option. Some people like to leave it just the way I finished it with this little thing. Other people like to then go one step further, take and do a pinch, and then squeeze the air into the end. So it's like this. I actually usually do this little twist if I have the space. I just think it looks a little cooler to have a little bobble on the end. But again, that's a personal choice. When you guys are making this stuff, you can make it however you would like. But that is how you make a balloon dog. All right, everybody, that is the end of my magic presentation. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. And I do want to just remind you one more time that if you ever get a chance to go to a magic show and the magician is performing some of the tricks that I showed you, that you please do not call out how you know how to do it. You guys are now on the inside of the magic world. So we want to keep up the illusion for the people that don't know how this stuff works. As far as the balloons, that dog that I showed you, that is just the scratching of the surface of the amount of balloon animals you can make. And another thing I want to tell you guys, if you have any questions about any of the tricks that I performed today or the balloons, feel free to reach out to me. Anyway, I hope you guys really enjoyed this, and I will see you all soon.